Alright, so, of course, this is Wresltemehnia, which, of course, is the Raw after Wresltemehnia. So we begin with Vince coming down to the ring, crowd chanting, singing his theme song, talks a little bit, Shane comes down, crowd pops. Shane, Bruce, busted open, looks great. Vince is like, you know what? You got it, you're running Raw. He doesn't really do much, but the fact he's running Raw, I think, by itself was enough goodwill for the fans. Then we go right into New Day. New Day doing what New Day does in the New Day way. Take on League of Nations in a title match. They get the victory pinning Wade Barrett. Sheamus is like, you should be dominant. However, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And Barrett's taken down and beaten up. Alright, it's cool. Barrett's out of the League of Nations. Alright. Lights go down. Wyatt's. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'm really cool with this. That means the Wyatts can get a victory. They can win this feud. Because the only time Bray Wyatt's been successful in a feud was against Dean Ambrose. And if I had a dime for every time Dean Ambrose won a feud, I would have no dimes. No dimes. Apollo Crews made his Raw debut because Neville's injured? Apollo Crews seemed like he needed a little bit more time in NXT. Like he needed that one good feud. I don't know. He's impressive in the ring, but I felt like he was just missing something. His matches with Finn were good. His matches with Elias Sampson are okay. His feud with Baron Corbin was workable. But it's like, alright, you're on the main roster now. Okay. Yeah, match against Tyler Breeze, a guy he knows really well. Alright, not a bad match. Felt like an NXT match, so that was good. I'm cool with that. That works. Alright. Baron Corbin made his Raw debut. Of course, he won the Honor of the Memorial Battle Royal last night. Comes down, cuts a really solid. You don't know who I am? I don't care. I won that. Good. That's a really solid promo. Then he took on Dolph Ziggler in a match that was pretty good. Baron Corbin requires a little bit more seasoning because he has no indie experience, but I'll be honest, he did a really good job. Of course, he ends up chasing Ziggler on the outside, so loses by countout, gets the ref saying, "This is on your head," and the day's on the outside of the ring. Alright, that's a good intro. That's a good opener for somebody. Cool. Roman Reigns came out to a chorus of boos, and he got a great promo. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm just the guy. Whoever wants a shot, come on down. Jericho comes down. Alright. Okay. So before you know it, you have Jericho, Styles, Owens, and Zayn all in the ring. That's right. Man, that's a fatal four-way. Cool. I can deal with that. They unveil the new title for the women's division and give it to the new women's champion, Charlotte. Of course, the crowd pretty much ruined that whole bit by chanting for Bayley the whole time. But then they got smart. They began chanting women's wrestling. Charlotte runs down everyone else in the ring, which eventually leads to everyone leaving. Natty gets a hold of the mic. And it seems like Natalya and Charlotte are going to reignite the whole I have the heart of a champion. And I was waiting to hear Charlotte go by with a flair for the gold. Woo! Alright, those two feuding? Good. Nice match at Roadblock. They had a good match when it came to the NXT Women's Championship tournament that Charlotte won to become the second women's champion. And Charlotte's first official match on the main roster was like a 3-minute long affair, including coming down to the ring, where she lost to Natalya. So, Good. I like that. Makes sense. It's simple, easy booking. Summer Rae had a match where she talked about how if she would have been the leader of her team, they would have won. And she ran into Sasha Banks. We were the Banks damn it. Okay. Good match. Solid match. Worked. You might see this weird pattern. This has very basic storytelling and good match work. Which, for the life, I cannot figure out why this is so hard for them to do more often. But you want to try the title? Fine. We're going to do a match to decide it. It's your main event. Your beginning and end of the match makes sense, and the matches are important. Cool? That's what we need. We need these sort of things. Zack Ryder defended his title against The Miz. Miz got in Zack Ryder's dead face, who pushed him down. Which then led to some blonde girl get into Zack Ryder's dad's face. She slapped him. Distracted Zack Ryder. Skull-crushing finale. 1, 2, 3. Miz is your new IC champion. And I guess Maris is back on the roster. Yes, that's Miz's wife. So when Miz says, it doesn't suck to be me, he's got a former Playboy, well, I don't think she was ever a Playboy playmate, but I think she did the specials. I think so. So that's his wife. And of course, their rematch will happen on SmackDown, which will be the debut of a new tag team, the Vaudevillains. Okay. Vaudevillains on SmackDown. Okay. Usos took on the Dudleys in a tables match, where the Usos missed stereo splashes went through tables. Then they rang the bell. Bubba took umbrage to this and then threw an Uso through a table and said, now you ring the bell. That's because the E has two styles of table matches. The one where it's, if you go through a table, the match is over. The other one being, if an offensive move from your opponent makes you go through a table, the match is done. Normally, they do the offensive move from an opponent because it actually makes the match mean something. Instead, it's like, ooh, I made a mistake and I fell on the table. So, they began to leave. And then this oh-so-familiar music hit, if you're a fan of NXT. And Enzo and Big Cass come down. And Smack Talker Skywalker carves a proverbial path inside Bubba Ray and Devon. He even says to Devon, he will put his lazy eye to work. Sorry, that was just perfect. Freaking perfect. And then shortly after that, they go backstage. Sami Zayn, because Renee's been talking with everybody about their spot in the Fatal 4-Way. And Owens lays him out and puts him through a table. And they're like, all right, well, it's 3 people now. Who's going to be the 4th guy? No, not Holla If You Hear Me, Scott Steiner, but Cesaro. So your main event, Cesaro, AJ Styles, Chris Jericho, Kevin freaking Owens. Maybe when Vince left, he was like, well, here's how I want the match, here's how I want the rest of the night to go. Okay. Vince is gone. Hey, any guys? Yeah. I'll have a match. Okay. The winner gets to be fed to Roman Reigns. Oh. We were smart who had 1 segment. And it was like he just showed up like, hey, I'm just I'm gonna leave. On the bright side, Chris called the crowd idiots, and the crowd did chant, we are idiots. Smarks. I love you, Chris. shut up, you suck. I suck, I suck, I suck, I suck. Smart fans, but dang, when the right guy starts talking, sheep. Just sheep. So, amazing back and forth match with your winner. And the man who's going to lose to Roman Reigns in Chicago at Payback. Off of a Styles Clash. The 4th time that he's done it on TV. The 2nd time that it's been a pinfall. AJ Styles. So, awesome episode of Raw. I think next week we should get back to everything kind of being, yeah, Mom. It was great last week, Mom. So after Wresltemehnia, we got to have a really, really solid Raw. Because I think they probably knew if this Raw were to not be good, the crowd is going to crap on them for the next 3 hours.